I never should have opened that post. If I'd kept scrolling that night, I'd be on my couch right now watching football and eating chips and living in the comfortable ignorance that some things are better left unknown. But I clicked, and now I'm trying to write this out, which is either going to help me make sense of it or just be a record of the fact that I can't. My name is Alex Morrow, 28, Columbus, Ohio, IT support for a mid-size insurance company. I rent a 2-bedroom about 5 minutes from I-270, and until the thing I'm about to describe, my life was average in a way that left nothing worth writing about. You know the feeling. You open Instagram and your college roommate just launched something, your high school acquaintance is thriving in Austin, and you're still driving the same 2014 Civic down the same stretch of highway to the same desk. That was the background hum. Ordinary Tuesday, late, around midnight, lying in bed scrolling Reddit the way I'd done every night for 6 years without really deciding to do it. I landed somewhere in Recommended, a subreddit I'd never heard of, something like r/lifehacksextreme. I honestly can't remember exactly, because when I went back to find it later, it was just gone. The post title, I found a way to never lose. I'm sharing it before I stop being able to. My first reaction was, okay, clickbait, some guy farming engagement or an ad for a $199 course he'll pitch in the last paragraph. I almost kept scrolling, but there was a small line in italics below the title. Please read this carefully, not for me, for yourself. I opened it. The account was u/Daniel MKWALKSY, created 3 days before this post, nothing written before or after. The post was long. I read it 3 times that night and took 3 screenshots without quite remembering doing it. Here's what I remember, close to word for word because I reread it a lot before it disappeared. Hey, I know how this sounds. I wouldn't have believed it either if I hadn't lived it. A few months ago, I came across a method. I won't say where. The concept is simple. There's a way of making decisions so that outcomes consistently fall in your favor. Not luck, consistently, predictably, over and over. The method has 3 steps. Step 1, before any decision, big or small, pause for 3 seconds and ask yourself, who loses if I win? Not, can I win, but specifically, who loses? Acknowledge it, accept it, then act. Step 2, stop turning down wins out of politeness or guilt. If something good is being handed to you, take it. Stop saying no in places where you've only ever said no because it felt like the polite thing to do. Step 3, every evening, write down what you won that day. Doesn't matter how small, the log isn't about pride, it's about keeping the method running. I followed these steps for 112 days. In that time, I won over $30,000 playing poker. I got a promotion I'd been waiting 3 years for. I closed 3 deals back to back that everyone said were impossible. I met a woman I fell in love with. But I'm not writing this to brag. Every single time I won, someone near me lost. At first, I told myself that's just how the world works, 0 sum. But then it started escalating. The co-worker who got passed over for the promotion I received, 2 weeks later he was in a car accident. Nothing fatal, but he's still in rehab. The guy I won $30,000 from at poker, I found out later that money was for his mother's medical treatment. The deals I closed, the competitor I pushed out filed for bankruptcy. 18 people lost their jobs. The woman I fell in love with, her ex disappeared, just gone. Her family filed a missing persons report. I tried to stop, and that's when the strangest thing happened. I didn't just become a normal, unlucky person. Things got worse than before I started, like the system wanted its investment back and started collecting from me. Please, if you're thinking about trying this, don't. Some wins cost too much. I read it 3 times, put my phone down, told myself it was just a creepypasta, and went to sleep because I had an 8 a.m. meeting. I almost forgot about it. On the drive to work the next morning, I caught myself running the first step on a loop. Who loses if I win? The answer was obvious. Marcus or Jamie, whoever else was waiting on their review, would lose out on budget if I got the raise. I acknowledged that the way the post described, actually sat with it for a second instead of brushing it off. Then I walked in. I don't fully know what shifted. I was confident in a way I'd never quite managed, had numbers ready I usually didn't prepare, held eye contact with Dave without flinching. He listened differently, not the way a boss listens to a subordinate. At the end, he leaned back and said, "Honestly, Alex, I've been meaning to do this for a while. Starting next quarter, you're looking at 12% and senior in the title." I walked out feeling something that wasn't quite happiness, more like the feeling after you win a bluff in poker, adrenaline with something slightly uncomfortable underneath. That evening, I opened a new note. 1. 12% raise, senior support engineer. Then it just kept going. 2 months, 50-something entries. The work stuff was extraordinary. I drove down to Cincinnati with my neighbor Jake for a private poker game I'd barely played before and walked away up $800. Found an apartment in a better neighborhood where the landlord inexplicably dropped the asking rent. Met Sarah from marketing, a woman I'd been aware of for 3 years without doing anything about, and she actually messaged me first. Everything was clicking. Too much clicking if you stop to look at it. I mostly didn't stop to look at it.
Marcus, the one who might have gotten my raise, missed Monday at work. Fine on Friday, then Tuesday. Dave mentioned a family situation and said he was taking some time off. Nobody knew details. I registered it, felt something about it, and consciously didn't pull on that thread, which is a little different from not noticing. I want to be accurate about that. Jake mentioned Randy, the guy who'd lost most at the poker game, was selling his motorcycle, needed cash, something happened with work. I said, "That's the game," and moved on. Tyler, the guy Sarah had been with before we started seeing each other, I found his LinkedIn profile one afternoon and saw that Meridian Tech Solutions, his IT startup downtown, had shut down 3 weeks earlier. 18 people let go, right around when Sarah ended things with him. I sat in the break room with a cold sandwich and tried to add it up. Marcus taking sudden leave after my promotion, Randy selling his motorcycle after I took his money, Tyler losing his job and his girlfriend at almost the same time. And here's the thing I kept running into. Every single piece of it was explainable without any mysticism. Startups fail constantly, relationships end constantly. The world is zero-sum, and when someone consistently moves toward opportunity without hesitating, they're walking toward things other people are walking away from. The method hadn't created magic. It had made me better at not stopping when I should take something. But what I should take is always something, and something always came from somewhere. I sat with that for an hour, then went back to my desk. That evening I didn't open the log. I told myself it was over, just a streak of luck that ran out, a Reddit post. I relaxed too soon. 3 days without logging and nothing fell apart. On the 4th day, Dave called me in to talk about a new project, big one, leading the tech side, the kind of thing he said most people would wait 3 more years to see. I knew taking it meant sliding back into operating the way the method had trained me, whether I was consciously following steps or not. I also knew turning it down meant passing on something Dave had just called once in a career. I said yes. Opened the note that evening, 52, new project, leading the tech side. Something closed back up. The next 2 weeks were outstanding by any measure, but parallel to that, Marcus came back from leave looking different, quieter, something flat in him. Jamie from our team disappeared to another company in the span of a day. Jake told me Randy was going through a divorce. Wife took the kids. He was in some studio on Schrock Road now. Drake Winters, a sales manager at the company where I'd closed my biggest deal, got let go because of a compliance issue related to the contract he'd been championing, the one they cut to sign with us, my deal. Drake was in his late 40s, house in Grove City, daughter in college. I looked at my monitor after hearing about Drake and felt something I hadn't felt before in all of this. Not guilt, I hadn't done anything wrong, not anxiety, something closer to being scared of myself. I drove to Sarah's. She noticed immediately. "You okay?" "Just tired." She didn't push. We watched some show neither of us was actually watching. Her head ended up on my shoulder at some point, and I stared at the ceiling until very late. When I finally tried to find the original Reddit post to leave some kind of comment, "You were right, the price is real," the subreddit was gone. UA Daniel MKWALSKI didn't exist, like it had never been there. Except I had 83 entries in a note on my phone. I decided to stop completely. No steps, no log, just done. The post had warned me. I tried to stop, and that's when the strangest thing happened. But I'd told myself that was just a dramatic beat for engagement. The first week was fine. The second week had a snag on the project, a client complaint. Dave's tone shifted slightly. Third week, I lost the office NCAA pool for the first time in months. Sarah drove to Pittsburgh for a long weekend. I spent Saturday alone in a way that felt uncomfortably quiet. Fourth week, Dave pulled me back in. "Alex, the last 3 weeks, something's off. You're more hesitant. The level you were at when you first took this project is what I'm expecting now. The bar's been set." The bar's been set because I set it, and now I'd walked away from what set it, but the bar stayed. My mum called from Lexington around that time. Her car had broken down. The repair was around $1,800. She was thinking about financing it. "I'll transfer it to you tomorrow," I said. I sent it, and that evening I almost accidentally opened the note, just to look, just to see the last entry, 52, new project, leading the tech side. I closed it, but my brain had already drafted the next line, 53, helped Mum cover the car. I didn't write it, I just thought it, and maybe that was enough, because the following week the project swung back. Dave was smiling. Sarah came home from Pittsburgh and said she had missed me. Everything returned. Or I returned. I still don't know which one it was. Day 84. The project was in final testing. Carl, 8 years in the company, meticulous, almost never made mistakes, had written a module that turned out to have a serious bug. His code, his review, his miss. Dave asked who was responsible. I stopped for 3 seconds. Carl, 8 years in, spotless record, a family, a mortgage in Upper Armington. I raised my hand and said it was mine. I should have run an additional audit before final testing, and I hadn't. 48 hours to fix it. I barely slept for 2 days. We closed the bug, the project shipped. Dave pulled me into a one-on-one afterward, said what I did in that meeting, taking ownership when I didn't have to, was what leadership actually looks like, said he wouldn't forget it. I walked out feeling something I hadn't felt in a while, not the particular rush of a win, not the low-grade dread of watching what the win would cost someone, something that didn't need a log entry.
That evening, I opened the note, stared at it, and deleted all 83 entries. Went to sleep, slept fine.
A month later, I was transferring files from my phone and found those 3 screenshots I'd taken the first night. I didn't remember taking them. I reread the post. Right at the end, in a small paragraph I had apparently scrolled past both times, if you ever decide to stop, know that the method doesn't go away. It just waits. Because once you've run it, you never fully stop. You just forget that you're doing it. I sat with that for a while. Because that meeting where I took the blame for Carl's bug, I had believed in the moment that I was choosing against the method. But what if it was the method? Taking accountability publicly, coming out of it looking like a leader, banking significant trust with Dave, the kind that compounds over time, worth far more than any short-term win. Who lost? Carl walked out clean. Aaron and Lena were fine. Melissa was fine. The only one who lost anything was me, briefly, strategically, in order to win something larger. Isn't that just step one? I can't answer that. I genuinely cannot tell anymore where the method ends and where I start, or whether that distinction means anything at all. 7 months since the night I found that post. Another promotion. Principal engineer. 3 levels in 7 months, a pace that in my company people notice and quietly resent. Dave says I'm on leadership's radar. I moved into the apartment. Sarah and I are serious. We've talked about moving in together. More money in my account than at any point in my adult life. Marcus resigned quietly about 6 months ago. Landed somewhere lower. Something broke in him around his father's illness. Before or after, I don't know the full story. Randy is still alone, sees his kids once a month, works smaller contracts. Tyler left Columbus, small town in Indiana. His posts are sparse, and he looks different in the ones that exist. Drake Winters, one LinkedIn post from about a year ago, open to opportunities. Nothing since. Their lives got worse. Mine got better. I can't prove those things are connected. Maybe they would have happened exactly this way regardless of anything I did. Maybe they were already heading toward all of it before I ever read a word of that post. But I think about it every day. Last week I got a call from a Columbus number I didn't recognize. I don't usually pick up. I picked up. Man's voice, not young. Tired in a way that didn't seem like it was just about sleep. Is this Alex Morrow? He named my company, asked if it was me. I said yes, asked who it was. A pause. My name is Daniel. I think we might know about the same thing. My hands went cold. Kowalski? A long pause. You read the post. Not a question. I said yes. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you didn't become what I became. He said he'd won too many times, that at some point the system came to collect, not from other people, from him. Job, relationship, health. He was in Detroit now, 1 room, not much left. I asked why he called. He's been trying to find everyone who read it. I want to know if the warning helped anyone. I said it had. He was quiet for a moment. That's really good to hear. And he hung up. I sat there for a while, then opened the Notes app, created a new note, typed day 1, starting over, looked at it, deleted it. I don't have a clean way to end this. I've tried to write an ending a few times, and it keeps coming out either too resolved or too dramatic, and neither feels honest. Here's what I actually think, for whatever it's worth. The method worked in the sense that I started operating differently, more intentional, less likely to let something good slip by because saying yes felt awkward. That part is real, and it's also just called growing up, or developing some confidence, or whatever. It doesn't require a method with 3 steps. The part about other people losing, I can't prove the causal chain, but I also can't quite dismiss it, and I've stopped trying. When you consistently move toward opportunity in a world where things are finite, you're taking something from somewhere. Most of the time, you just don't see who had it before you. The scariest part isn't any of that. The scariest part is the question I can't answer. Did I actually stop, or did I just stop keeping a log? I deleted 83 entries from my phone. I don't know if I deleted the thing that made them. Last night I was scrolling Reddit and caught myself searching for that post, or something like it. Just my thumb moving that way, without me quite deciding to do it. I don't know what to do with that. I'm writing this partly because writing things down has always helped me think, and partly because you/Daniel MKWAL said he was sharing it before I stopped being able to. And I've thought about that phrase a lot, and I'm not totally sure I know what it means. But I'm writing this now, while I still can, I guess. Take care of yourself.